Colby?
I wouldn't say it's pivotal. I mean, listen, I mean it's a big start for him just because the last two weren't great. One thing about Colby is he's really open to talking and discussing how to get better. He's not shy about things that he hasn't done well or that he needs to do better, and he's open to making adjustments. And so I'm just really excited to kind of get him back out there, just to see how it plays out. I'm not going to tell you exactly what we discussed because I don't want the Oakland A's to be aware of that. But at the same time, in so many ways, I respect just for a young kid. He's very mature in the way he handles adversity, and we got to see it last year. And I really look forward to seeing him have a good start tonight.
For you, as far as Goody is concerned, how do you plan on using him, and what led to that roster move?
The fact that Goody was ready, we've been kind of waiting for him to be ready. We feel like he's a big piece, especially against teams like this that are very right-handed. I fully expect him to wipe out some right-handed hitters with some sliders and some fastballs. So it'd be good to have him back because that's a big piece for us. Like I said, against teams like this.
What do you need? What's the future hold for Ian?
The one thing I told him, I put him in a lot of tough spots. I value his stuff, the way he competes. He pitched well for us. I think his numbers aren't really indicative of how well he kind of pitched. He had a little bit of command issues at times, which kind of led to more runs, like last night. But he's close. I think he's close to kind of really contributing to us, especially more of a back end, high leverage spot, because he's got the stuff to be able to do that. So, it's a learning curve for him, man. He needs to figure out how to be just a little bit more consistent, like last night. To be able to get those outs. Maybe it was he made a couple good pitches to get out of the inning and we didn't do it, and trying to fight through some of those things where instead of walking a guy, he's able to execute. But he's in a good spot. I wanted to make sure I told him it wasn't I know he doesn't love getting sent down, but to make sure when he goes down that he's preparing to get back here to pitch important innings for us. And I think that's an important message that he needs to understand.
Do you have a plan for how you're going to manage the three catchers situation?
I think it kind of depends on how obviously Trevino's swinging a hot bat, so that kind of adds a little bit of how are we going to get him in the lineup. When one of your best hitters is your catcher, it makes it tough because you can't play him on a daily basis. So whether that's even against righties, maybe DHing him at times, but being able to make sure Mathis obviously catches as well, so he doesn't go too long without playing. We'll take it day by day, but I kind of mapped out the next little bit, but just trying to keep everybody as fresh as possible, like I said, but keeping maybe a bat in the lineup is going to be the toughest part.
Gotcha. Thank you, Woody.
Questions, please. Let's go to Chris.
I asked you about Trevino last night, but he had him batting third today. That's a pretty substantial vote of confidence, just from my experience of watching baseball and knowing the reputation that comes with being a three hitter. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think there's any. The one thing about Trevino, he's not scared. So when I put a guy in that spot, we haven't had a ton of production in the 3-hole this year. So when I'm looking at kind of the lineup, I want to make sure the top of the lineup is stacked not only with our best hitters, but the most productive at the moment. I have tinkered with the lineup obviously this year more than I did last year, but at the same time, I think he's able to handle it. I just want quality at bats. That's it. He's given us quality bats pretty much every time up there. So, there's no better hitter right now. And I told him today. I talked to him already about it. Just go up and keep doing what you're doing. Get good pitches to hit and put good swings on him, man. That's all we're asking. Not asking you to do anything more. Not asking you to hit 3 homers today. Like, just go up and have quality at bats like you have been, and we'll be fine.
DR.
What is up with Joe Colombo, please, sir?
The UC, the ulcerative colitis is it got pretty bad. I'm not going to put it mildly. He wasn't in a good place, a little while ago. He's getting better, but right now we got to kind of calm that down and make sure he's able to kind of get on a throwing program and get back to throwing. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get fully built up again, because it kind of derailed him because he wasn't able to do anything. He lost a bunch of weight, lost some strength, and obviously when you're not throwing as a pitcher, every couple days you don't throw is almost a week that you have to kind of build back up.
Is he throwing?
I believe so, but not. I don't know if he hasn't thrown a bullpen or anything. I don't think.
Right, he just, if a pitcher is in alternate camp, including Olwyn and Vanesco, are they being discussed as an option for the major league staff?
Not right now. We talk about them obviously just to see what they're doing and how they're developing. This is a big time for them. To make sure they're getting something out of this year. So, I don't think at the moment, we have plans as of right now to bring them up anytime soon. But things could change, I guess. But as of right now, probably not.
When you talk about your third spot, you say it hasn't given you a ton of production. I think you're rating that too highly. There's been zero production in number 3. No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make a joke. It's been unbelievably bad. How much is that impacting Gallo, and how much is that impacting your lineup?
Yeah, I mean it does affect. That's a spot you would expect to have a lot of production, if not the most. So, I've been obviously putting different guys there. I don't want to make it the black hole. I'm hoping kind of Trevino proves that wrong today, but you want production, especially in front of Joey, your best offensive player. Like you would like that to be a very productive spot to kind of help him. So I don't know. I don't know the reason why we haven't had production there, but hopefully the second half of the season we have a lot.
Let's go to Levi.
I know you talked about this a little bit in the first week or so of the season, but while we're on the topic of the 3-hole and Joey Gallo, and I know he hasn't been on a super hot streak lately, but have there been any more sort of talks with him? Is he just not comfortable being in the 3-hole, or what has been the decision-making process there?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm hoping that we eventually get to that point where he feels really, really comfortable about being in that spot. Maybe it isn't the best spot for him, honestly. I would love to just say, hey, you're hitting there no matter what, but there is a comfort factor, obviously, when you're a major league hitter. Like, I don't want to put a guy lead off if he hates leading off, or 2-hole if he can't stand hitting second. We need him to be productive. So eventually, hopefully, we get to that where it's just it's a natural progression to kind of put him there, or even closer than that at maybe 2. But as of right now, I would kind of leave him in the 4-hole.
Okay. And then just housekeeping, as far as health updates, do you have anything on either Leclerc or Kluber?
Not at the moment. I know they're both kind of just obviously still rehabbing. I don't think either one is throwing fully just yet. I know they both said they feel pretty good, like they're definitely healing. So hopefully both of them can start a throwing progression and build back up to at some point help us out, maybe at the end of the year.
Okay. And then last thing for me, the Shin-Soo is back. What was the sort of final hurdle that he had to cross to be ready to go?
It was really the side. I think the rest of his body was feeling pretty good. His calf, he had some quad issue. He had kind of a lot of different issues, but the oblique issue was probably the biggest one. So that's one where he feels like when he's swinging, he doesn't feel it anymore. He's pretty much 100% from a swing standpoint. The body's always going to be what it is, but especially at 38. But the oblique isn't really an issue anymore. So that was good enough to where we can just let him go now.
Okay. That's all for me. Thank you.
Kevin Grant.
Chris, if you guys get to the numerical midpoint of this season tonight, what's your evaluation of this club at the midpoint?
There's a lot to evaluate. I think there's a lot of things we'd rather do better. That's clearly there's a lot of things that have kind of plagued us to not winning. We've been in a lot of games, I know our run differential is not great, and we got beat by 7 yesterday, but there's just some critical moments in games where we've lost by 1, lost by 2, and I feel like most of the games we've been pretty much in the ball game, and we were one moment or one misplay or one big hit away from winning a game, and that's true for every team probably, but for us it was these things have just been highlighted because we haven't played as well as we'd like, and that's pretty much on every side of the ball. From a pitching standpoint, we haven't been consistent. Defensively, we haven't been consistent. Offensively, we've struggled pretty much all year. So we got to try to, listen, we have 30 games left. I know it's not a lot, but we're not going to quit. If we can clean some of these things up and, if we can win some of these one-run games and hopefully offensively get some more production, especially out of the top of the order, you never know. I mean, we play Houston 10 times. It's in our, I'm not saying we control our own destiny, but at the same time, like we're gonna have to still play 31 games, including tonight. So we got to improve. That's the bottom line.
We've already today belabored the number 3 spot in production offensively, and obviously you lost Kluber in the rotation. The thing that I gave a lot of thought to over the last 24 hours, and I'm sure you have too, is why has this team performed so poorly defensively? It seems like not just the number of errors, but the number of plays that aren't getting made.
Yeah, that's frustrating because I know that it's not from work that's put in. I don't know if it's like I've said before, more of the snowball effect where it's just that negative kind of pressure. It's like, okay, who's gonna make a mistake tonight? You know what I mean? And I've been on teams. I've played a long time, and it's hard to stop that. The same goes for when you play well. It's like, who's going to make the great play tonight? So we got to kind of reverse that. We got to be tough mentally. We got to really put some emphasis not only in I think our pregame work is fine. Maybe we can adjust some things to kind of make it a little bit more game-like, put a little more stress level, which I believe in and which we have done. But I think in game, like we got to have some really tough mental guys to just say, you know what, it's not going to happen today. It's not going to be me, and I'm going to hold everybody else accountable to that. And it's uncomfortable at times because nobody wants to have that feeling, but we got to stop it because we're killing ourselves every day. With misplay that leads to 5 runs, that leads to 2 runs, that leads to 1 run. That it's just over the course of the season, we've lost a lot of games because of that.
And the last thing for me is appears that. And I'm not asking you to confirm or deny anything, but it appears that there is at least one plan that would call for the World Series being played in Texas this year. How personally would you take it for the World Series to be played here and you not to be in it?
Well, yeah, that wouldn't. I wouldn't like that. Listen, I mean, I think it'd be great for the community, to have the World Series here if that's the case. If we're going to make, the playoffs in a bubble and it happens to be here, that'd be fantastic. We still got 31 games left, so we got something to say about that not happening. As it stands right now, we probably aren't the favorite, but we still got 31 games left. So we're going to fight like heck to get to the end, and if it doesn't happen to be us, then I'll be somewhere else watching it.
But with your intimate experience in this ballpark, I would assume you'd endorse this as the best possible facility for if they're looking for a neutral site.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's a fantastic venue for for having that. Obviously, there's been Super Bowls here. There's been World Series here. A couple years. So no, it'd
but the stadium itself.
Yeah.
Your stadium itself.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I think everybody would, if there was no other choice and we didn't have our home fields, then the 2 teams that play here, hopefully us, they would love to play here for sure.
Great, thank you.
One more before we bring Taylor in. Go ahead, John.
What's the prognosis of the latest on Rougned Odor?
He's got pretty significant eye infection that kept him out yesterday. Today it seemed to get a little bit worse, so we're going to keep him out. Hopefully it some medicine and some eye drops and all kinds of stuff they're trying to do to clean it up. Hopefully it gets better, so he'll be available tomorrow. I'm just not sure at this point.